Hey, it's Tay. So welcome back. Today's video, we're going to be talking about all the essential tips and tricks and materials and equipment that you're going to be needing in order to have a successful candle making class. Now, I've hosted numerous classes over the course of this year. They've all been sold out, and I thought that this would be some very valuable information that you as a candle maker should know before you host yours. What types of materials or equipment do you need when you are having your first candle making class? So for me personally, it's literally everything that you need to make a candle times how many people that you want to have in your class. So the essential things of a candle, right? You need your wax, you need your wicks, you need your vessels, or whether you use the glue dots or you use the sticky tabs, just like a pitcher, you need pot for your wax, just everything that you need to make a candle. You're gonna need that for your customers for the class times how many ever you need. So for me, I have about 15 to 20 students that attend each class. Just to be on the safer side, I always just bring extra supplies because you cannot go wrong with just having more of something. A lot of times when you have these classes, something does go wrong and you're like, dang, I need an extra label, I need an extra vessel, I need something extra. So the more the merrier. That's one great tip of advice that I've learned. Now, I know a lot of people are wanting to hold candle making classes, but they don't have the funds up front. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I have a Amazon credit card, and it is the best thing that I have for my business because I'm able to purchase everything that I need up front, and then after I had the classes, I was able just to pay it all off that way. So of course you might take a L, your first class, depending on where you are, because you really just have to get together all the materials that you need. So you may not make profit on your first class. I want you to understand this. Just because it's multiple people attending the classes, you probably are not going to make a lot of money. You're definitely going to be in the red. But if you somehow finesse it to where you're not in the red, kudos to you. I also know a lot of people, they just really didn't want to buy specific things such as a thermometer. Some people just didn't think that it was useful, or the scale and just other stuff like that. But I am an experienced person, so I put myself in the place of, okay, if I were someone who was just going into this fully blind, I would want the whole experience. So me buying the thermometer, buying the scale, buying extra stuff just to really enhance the aesthetic and the theme of the candle making class, I feel like that really just brought more oomph and made my class so much more better and so much more different. Yes, it's going to be a lot of money up front, but you really want to being your best self in the class, so then that way you can learn to improve and get better each time and figure out some things that work for you and some things that don't work for you. So I'm looking at my list right now, and here are some essential things. This is all included in my ebook, but I'm going to give y'all a few gems. So if you're taking notes, I suggest you take notes right now, because I'll give you a little hint of what's in the ebook. I ain't gonna go into too much, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit. So you need multiple pouring pitchers, but that's essential, right? Vessels, I would say bring extras of those. Your wicks. If you wanna have custom labels for your customers, by all means, go ahead and customize a label. Prefer that you probably just take the cheaper route to start out with, get some from Amazon, do the little online label ones, or you can go directly to Amazon online labels website and purchase what size label you need for those specific vessels, and then DIY it at the crib and just put whatever you want on it that way. Fragrances, I know that I bought a plethora of just different fragrances over the past 3 years. I literally have no use for them, so having a candle making experience is perfect because you can just let the customers pick whatever they want. They can mix it up however they want, and you don't have to worry about buying any new fragrances because it's just already there. So see, calculators, it's all about setting the mood and the aesthetic for your class, because you want your class to be the best of the best, the top notch. You don't want it to be like anybody else's. So if you want to bring that pizzazz and that wow factor, I suggest you have these essential things that are really just gonna make it stand out and make it really well put together. Thermometers, aprons. So aprons are optional, but like I keep telling you, it's all about the aesthetic. You want to make it seem like your class is just, wow, that was so fun. I got to put on gloves, I got to make my own candle, I was able to put on an apron. I was just really in the mood to just try something new and different. It was a great experience. It's just all about enhancing the experience for the customer. I'm telling you, once you figure out a way to get them, feeling and bring emotions out of them, and wow, this is something I've never done before, but I had so much fun doing it, because these little key things and details that were part of the class that made it everything. Bring multiple wax melters. I know some people have the little like the little handy, I don't even know how to say it. They're like the hot plates. I personally have never used hot plates. I don't like the aesthetic of them, but you know, if that's something that you think would be helpful and useful to you, by all means bring it. I just had my wax melters that I had from Makesy, and if you know, you know, they're not the best, but they do get the wax hot when you need it to. That's a different discussion. Like black Sharpie markers, because you're gonna have to have something, or it can be different colors too, have to have something so that the customers can write on their custom label, you know, what they wanted to say. I'll tell you more about what you should put on your custom label for your customers, so it can really be, you know, part of the aesthetic. But like I said, that's something in the ebook that y'all just gonna have to, you gonna have to get. I'm dropping bars. It's all about the aesthetic and just really creating a vibe for your customer. Like I said, you just really want to put yourself in the mindset of, this is something that, what is something that you would like to see if you were someone who's never been to a candle making class before. Like, set the standard, and from there you can figure out the things that you loved, and some things that you hated, and some things that really worked really good for your customers, and some stuff that just didn't. So it's all about just try, if you can, to just shoot for the stars and go as high as you can with, like, you know, decoration and themes and stuff. And then that way you can figure out, like, you can find your happy medium. In the ebook, I also included some inspo for your class, basically like how I set up my classes, the aesthetic, once again, like decor, food, drinks, mocktails, cocktails, however you want to put it. How I price my candle classes is literally the same way that I price like my candles. You have to break it down, like what are some things that you need to make a candle, right? It's the wax that you need the wicks, you need the vessel, labels. It's just all those things combined, and then I add on the extra things that I want to. So it's gonna be different. Like my price is not gonna be your price. Your price could be a little bit more, my price could be a little less, or it could be vice versa. It's really just all about like your cost of goods, and then you times that by, you know, 4 or 5 or however you do it. I don't wanna get too into that because I'm still figuring some things out, finding my sweet spot. But what I can say is my sweet spot for my candle making classes have been anywhere from $70 to $85. And that's just based on me and like the crazy stuff that I be buying sometimes. Now I have set stone of the basic things that I need in order to successfully run a class. And then like, okay, if you want to have this stuff, if you want to have Chick-fil-A, yes, I had Chick-fil-A at my first like 2. I don't want to talk about that. If you want to have that, here's a way to incorporate that and, you know, see what that is like as well. So I feel like what I've learned, particularly for my prices, have been working for me, and it's been making sense. So like I said, yours may be different. So when it comes to me and hosting my candle making events, I kind of base it off of, first of all, where I'm having it at, because those particular event spaces, they have like a set time and date and price of, you know, say if I wanted to rent something out on a Saturday, that Saturday rate is not going to be the same as a Friday rate. So of course I'm going to go with the Friday night rate, because the Friday night one is a little bit cheaper. I've had events there where it would be $40, $50, and I would obviously go with that over than doing the one on Saturday. So it just kind of varies. I typically have them for about 2 hours. Sometimes they go a little over, depending on, you know, where you're hosting it at, and if the people who are allowing you to be in that space, if they're okay with that too. So they typically start around like 7 p.m. and then they end around 9. But you know, some people still just kind of dangle and mingle, and you kind of really just get to know your customers and who they are, and really just figure out, you know, what made them come to your event, and really talking to them and engaging with them. And so I feel like the extra, you know, half an hour after the classes actually ended is really good. So if you have the time to do that, you know, book 2.5 hours. It's the perfect amount of time for me. People question like, oh, I don't know if my candles are going to be solidified by the time it's ready to go and take them home. I'm worried about that. I don't want them to go home carrying, you know, candles that aren't fully solid. If you really plan out your night for your event, it's something that can definitely happen, and you can stay within your range. For me, typically, as soon as they come in, I have someone help me, one of my assistants, I have them like greet them at the door with a mocktail or cocktail, you know, ask them how did they hear about us, or what's their name, or if they're coming with more people and they're waiting on more people, then they're seated in a particular area. Also put like a little menu in the front, just basically a run of class, you know, saying what we're going to be doing at a particular time. For like intermission, they can get up and they can eat a snack, they can use the restroom. I wanted to give them a run of show so that they know, they're well aware of, you know, like, all right, 7:30 we doing this, 7:45 we doing this, 8 o'clock we doing this, 8:30 we, like, wow, this is really well put together. I know what I'm expecting, and yes, yes, I can't wait to get started. Where do I host my events? So typically I host them at event spaces that are around Las Vegas. Those have been more of my aesthetic. I keep saying aesthetic, but it's so true. The space that I'm in, because it just feels very homey and welcoming. The ability to have like their Bluetooth and like speakers going, and I really just love to set a vibe at my candle making experiences. So I think having the music really just helps to draw out that awkward silence when there are like customers arriving and they don't know anyone. So it's really just all about the ambiance and where you want it, and make sure that you're hitting like really good areas too. I know a lot of people also host them at like churches or, you know, different types of halls, or even if you live in an apartment and they have like a boardroom that you think that would be really cool, you can ask them if you can rent it out. Most times they're free, you just gotta ask. And then, you know, clubhouses as well, hosting them particularly just for friends and family. See if you can, if you have enough room. I practice like do it at your own home, have it at a friend's home. If you really want to, and it's not like during the summer, you know, host one outside. Like just try to switch up your environment to see where you feel most inspired and where you feel like it just makes sense to you. Marketing is hard, I'm not gonna hold you, but it's really all about how you market that's really gonna get people to want to come to your event. It may sound crazy, but like you gotta make sure you post in every single day, or at least every other day when it comes to your classes, because if you want sold out, you have to be consistent, and you have to really explain to your ideal customer what benefit, you know, you're gonna give them for coming and attending this class. Like they're gonna have fun, they're gonna be able to make their own, you know, eco-friendly or whatever type of candle you're making. It's gonna be a vibe. They're gonna have, you know, certain types of music that they may want to listen to. It's gonna be playing the types of cocktails or mocktails, the types of games, the things that you can win. You've been able to just interact with your own community and engage. Like you have to really sell it to them. I was someone who was interested in going to a candle making class, but really didn't have the motivation to come. Like what would be something that I think would be really cool that I could do? Why would someone want to come to your class? Want to come to my class because it's this and that, you know? Like give them, what are they gonna get from you? Like you want to set that vibe and how you want to be different. The decor, if it's themed, you know, I had a Valentine's one, well, Valentine's/Galentine's one last February, and it was full of love, you know? That sounds so cliche and corny, but like it was full of love, and just people were just having fun and they really enjoyed what they were doing. The music was good, the drinks was flowing, the food was good. You know, really just envision yourself like, what do I want this class to look like for my customer? And we all know that like Instagram is kind of dead right now, but hey, you still have to use Instagram as a platform to market yourself and market your candle class. I know it sounds crazy. Another thing that has been really useful for me for selling out my events is going to Facebook. I know, cringe, but going to Facebook, setting up an event, the particular date that you're having your candle making class, a really fun caption and description about what's gonna go on and who's all gonna be there and what things you're gonna win, all the prizes and like the things that you're gonna do at your class, and then also taking that event and boosting it. So basically making an ad out of it. I did that and I was able to sell out all my classes. Now what really worked for me is putting a good amount of money behind it. I know it sounds crazy, like putting up $50, $60 and you don't really know what you're doing when it comes to ads, but I'm telling you, this is the cheat code. This is the cheat code because it not only gets people who are interested, but people can say if they're going or if they're not going. That way too, you can use that as data, and you can, you know, kind of nudge them on Facebook to be able to follow your business page and kind of persuade them to, you know, follow you on everything and get their email and kind of just really bring them in. I just gave y'all a tip right there. I think my first Facebook ad that I did with my candle making class, I believe it was like $50 or $60, but I made that back almost instantly. People who said they were going, a lot of people who said maybe, a lot of people who said, you know, no, and then a lot of people who also just put that they were interested and they just wanted to keep a lookout just in case, you know, oh, I may or may not be there that weekend, but I'm interested. And if that's something that you're still interested in, Facebook will send them a reminder like, hey, this candle making class is coming up this weekend. Do you still want to go? So it's kind of like doing the work for you, but be prepared because you're going to sell out. you are going to sell out. So you need to be prepared. It's a really great feeling. And I just think that marketing that way is just a whole different audience when it comes to Facebook and Instagram. Once they see you on Facebook and you start to post more and you get them excited about what you're doing and the things that are upcoming for the candle class, you can kind of also lead the gateway of them following you on Instagram. And then that way you can, you know, really post more in real time and just really get to know your customer before they even come to the class. So I just dropped some gems for y'all. Y'all better be using Facebook. I'm telling you. I get it, okay? You are worried that someone else is gonna take your strategy about how it is to make a candle and they're gonna go and try to go to your class, steal your strategy, go home and buy all the supplies and make their own candle, and you're so afraid, you're so scared, right? Get that out of your head. No one is like you. No one is going to do anything like you. You have to be confident in yourself to know that, yes, I am going to maybe show them how to make a candle, but they don't have what I have. They don't have the passion for it. They probably don't have the money, okay? Because candle making and buying all these supplies and equipment is very costly. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. So don't even think about anyone stealing your strategy or stealing your way on how to make a candle or giving up too much information. No one's really paying attention. And I had those thoughts myself too, because I'm like, dang, I don't want to tell them my secret sauce. But as I told them, and I'm like, no one even cares. Like, no one even cares. No one's going to put in the effort of starting a business just because you had this candle class. And I mean, if they did, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't steal everything that you do. So get that out of your head right now. Don't you worrying about the wrong things. Do not focus on that. Focus on running a successful class, greeting your customers as soon as they come in, having high engagement, making sure that they feel welcome, making sure that they have all the tools and steps that they need to be successful in order to completely, you know, finish with your class. Make sure that you know where the restroom is. If they want some snacks, you know, talk to them, learn about, you know, how they found about your class, learn about them as a customer, and really make those connections. Those are the things that you should be worried about. Don't worry about nobody stealing your sauce, because they ain't gonna be able to do it the way you do it. I'm telling you right now. That mother, no, I'm kidding. I had to say that. Focus on you and your ideal customer, okay? Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Like, I want to be wowed. Show me how you can wow me. How is this experience so different from any other candle making class? You are the sauce. It's you. You are the prize. Remember that, okay? I know that putting a class together, making sure you have the event space, marketing, make sure you have all the tools and the equipment that you need is stressful. Trust me, I get it. Don't let self-doubt get in the way, because I know that sometimes our minds can just go off to crazy land and we just start thinking about the craziest things that we don't need to, and they're only hurting us. You just get your mind in alignment. You are prepared for this. You are ready for this. If you don't want to do such a big amount of people, start small. Start with 5 people. Start with like your family and friends. Really just get your feet wet so that you can prepare yourself to take on, you know, a larger group of customers for your class. Don't be intimidated, okay? It's okay to be nervous, but like, you got this. You were made for this. If I can do it, I know you can, because I was sweaty, baby. That first class had me shook. But my first class was also my best class. And I'm so thankful and proud of myself that I was able to just go ahead and get the idea out of my head and put it in play. And I know you can too. So don't be discouraged. Don't talk yourself out of it. You are made for this. And I'm cheering you on and I'm rooting for you. And I also have an ebook for you. Like I said, if you want more help with marketing, if you just need help with certain stuff. I've already had like 10 candle makers buy this ebook, and they've just been like, wow, like Taylor, this is such a big help, especially with things that I've never even would have thought of when it comes to this candle making class. So I appreciate that. If you want that link will be in the description. I'm here to be a resource for you, because I know what it's like to hold these classes, and they're very nerve-wracking. But like I said, you got this. It's nothing. It's nothing to a giant. It's nothing to a boss. You are the boss. You are the prize, like Lori Harvey said. If you want a part 2 to this, go into a little bit more detail about, or if you just had some questions that didn't get answered, let me know. Leave a comment below, and I will do a part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and whatever else y'all need help with in order for you to be successful with your candle making class. Thanks for being here, and until next time, bye.